So, is an asteroid headed towards Earth? Well, first of all, there are always asteroids headed towards Earth. What we care about is whether they'll actually hit us or have a near miss. Or I'd rather think of them as near hits. Because if you nearly miss something, to me that means you hit it. Anyhow, there's an asteroid recently discovered, 2024 YR4. That's its designation. And you know that was discovered late in the year 2024 because the letters are late in the alphabet. In fact, I think it actually puts us in December for 2024. The size of the asteroid is still uncertain, but we know it's somewhere between 50 and 100 meters. Some of that uncertainty will be overcome by tasking the James Webb Space Telescope. All of our great telescopes have operation modes where if there's a time-critical thing that's happening in the universe, time on the telescope gets allocated to that event. And this counts as one of those, let's task JWST for helping us figure out exactly how big this asteroid is. The right question to then ask is how much damage would it do? These things are moving very fast. The closing speeds are typically 20, 30, 40, can be as high as 50 kilometers per second. So that's a lot of kinetic energy being brought in. A good rule of thumb here is that the crater would be about 10 to 20 times the size of the asteroid itself. So 10 to 20 times something that's almost 100 meters, it would leave a crater between 1 and 2 kilometers across, all right? A little less than a mile, perhaps. If the asteroid hit a city, leaving a crater nearly a mile across, that would be completely devastating, destroying many buildings, killing many people. Most of Earth is water. Most of what is not water, that is land, is uninhabited. So chances are, if it does hit, it's not going to harm anyone. If it happens out in the middle of nowhere, then it's just an interesting crater. We have one of those in Arizona. It's called Meteor Crater. It's almost a mile across, and you can sink a 60-story building in the center. And when you add it all up using this sort of arcane metric for describing the size of explosions, it would land at about between 8 and 10 megatons. 8 and 10 million tons of TNT, which was this metric invoked during the Cold War and the arms race to describe how much energy was being released with our nuclear weapons. So during that period, we actually detonated bombs of equivalent strength. And in fact, we detonated them in the ocean. And while there were local tsunamis, there wasn't a tsunami that took out the population of the world. So you don't want to be there when it happens, if it happens. I'm just telling you, no, civilization will not come to an end. We will not go extinct. We will not have to worry that we will suffer the same fate as the dinosaurs. So chill on that. The estimate for the chances of it hitting us are down at this moment, between 1% and 2% at the time of this recording. Well, you might have seen in the news in recent weeks that there's colonies of asteroids being hidden by, sheltered by, harbored by Venus, our sister planet in the solar system. By the way, we call it our sister planet because Venus was a goddess and Mars is our brother planet because Mars is a god. That's why. Otherwise, I don't really care. It's just a planet. I'm not really into genderizing cosmic objects, but given the multi-thousand-year history of that being the case, we'll go along with it. So there's Venus. She is harboring asteroids in 2 locations in the vicinity of 2 orbiting objects where all forces balance. The centrifugal forces that would have something fly away from you, and the gravitational forces that would pull things in. Discovered by the French mathematician Lagrange, he discovered 5 of these locations, and the 2 of interest to us are the one that precedes Venus in its orbit and one that trails Venus in its orbit. And each of those makes a perfect 60 degree equilateral triangle with Venus and the Sun. Any asteroid that wanders into that zone will feel no force or proclivity to go anywhere but just hang out. And so Venus literally is harboring asteroids. I can say that's a literal understanding of what's happening. It's the gravity of Venus, the sun, and the centrifugal forces collect asteroids over the billions of years the solar system has been here. It turns out Venus is also hiding them. Not just harboring them, hiding them. Because the sequence of planets in order from the sun is Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. So wait a minute, Venus is between Earth and the sun. We will never see Venus on the opposite side of the sky. The way we do for Mars, depending on where it is in its orbit, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, all of those at some part of their orbit are sitting opposite the sun from where we are in our orbit. That's the darkest part of the sky. That's midnight. Whereas with Venus, anytime we're looking at Venus, it is somewhere near the sun. You ever wondered why Venus is visible as the morning star? In German, that's Morgenstern, became some people's last name. And it's an evening star. Morning twilight, evening twilight. Because the sun is about to rise or the sun is just set. And there's Venus hanging out near the sun. It is very hard to detect asteroids in the sun's glare. Not only that, if an asteroid is opposite the sun, there's something called specular reflection of light, where the intensity of the reflected light back to you, because they don't give off their own light, you're totally dependent on reflected sunlight. If it is opposite the sun and you pass between them, it is as bright as it could possibly be. It's not only fully lit by the sun, the laws of reflection enhance the brightness of the asteroid beyond what you'd normally think it would be. The same is true for the full moon. The full moon is not twice as bright as a half moon. It is 12 times brighter than a half moon. Because of the laws of reflection on modeled surfaces such as the surface of the moon, you get this additive effect. So if you ever want to look at asteroids, discover asteroids, you want to make sure you're looking at them in the middle of the night when the sun is on the opposite side of the sky. No such opportunity with the asteroids that Venus is not only harboring, but hiding. Now, these asteroids already live inside of our orbit. Most asteroids are in the asteroid belt, including my own. It's 13123 Tyson. By the way, when I was told they were going to name an asteroid after me, I double checked. I said, does it cross Earth's orbit? Because you don't want that asteroid aiming at Earth. Asteroid Tyson will take out, you don't want that asteroid. No risk of Asteroid Tyson ending civilization.